YouTube, it's Brian Phillips, Integral 80 from FMS, right here, right now. Second thoughts, we're gonna try some different stuff tonight, and here's why. Because this plane, we didn't get thrust reverse on ours, which we thought was kind of weird. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take off and we're gonna fly it with a long strip just to show you how easy it is if you have the real estate. All right, guys, here we go. Take off flaps. She's in. Love the day bright LEDs. Oh, sorry for the blue, hon.
That's all right.
We'll come over here and just kind of get into a flat pattern. Take off flaps. You want a high speed?
Sure, I'm ready.
Look at that thing. Looks like infinite ups, but it's kind of not. When it gets pretty bogged down because it's heavy. Okay, I turn my gains up just a hair. I got kicked by some turbulence halfway through that roll. It looked terrible. Okay, here we go. A little bit of rudder. Just gliding. Sounds awesome. Look at the ups, guys. Okay, coming around. You see it kicked at the top? Here we go. Pushing it down. Listen. I love that sound. I can't tell if I got a little aileron roll going on or if I've got a little bit of rudder. Turned on itself up at the top. Here we go. Under throttle this time. Man, you see the wing bend when I pulled out of it? I don't think it's supposed to do that. That was cool. Couple clicks of trim down on the elevator. There it is, guys. Look at that thing. Man, it's covered some ground. 6S 4000. 1 minute left on our timer. Okay, so take off flaps. We're gonna actually go kind of jank it around here, full landing flaps as we jank it. Look at this, guys, the difference in speed. It's like not even here, 15% throttle. Look at that thing slow down. Okay, take off flaps, landing flaps. Excuse me, out of the flaps. Okay, here we go. We're gonna go up, roll it around, up, and janking it down. You guys see that high-speed stall at the top? That was weird. That was a power install. Okay, here we go. Take off flaps, landing flaps. Oh, did you see the balloon? Wow. Holy cow. It's like it went to another stratosphere. Man, it got wonk all of a sudden. That was bizarro. I think we just got hit by some turbulence, which is crazy because it feels otherwise dead calm. So guys, I don't know if you enjoy watching them go fast like that, but I do. My only issue is that when you're going so fast, I want it to be just a little bit more controllable, and I just feel like this thing just lacks a little bit in the controllability arena. So I'm actually gonna bring this around. Gear coming out, as you can see. Beautiful landing gear on this plane. Now we don't have thrust reverse on it, so I gotta kind of use up real estate. Camera crew's gonna help me with traffic. Okay, okay. A little bit of throttle. Kind of have to force the nose down. I need to add a little more mix to my elevator. Oh, here it goes. Look at that, just down. Okay, sorry, touch and go. Because I can. That's usually about what happens right before I crash, guys. Okay, out of throttle. Take off flaps. Gear coming down. Look at that. We're just gonna bring it down with takeoff flaps. How about that? Because it gets less wonk then, okay? Look at this, just a little kiss of throttle, kiss of throttle. A little bit of rudder when we get over the tops. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, full landing flaps now. Oh, look at that. Forces the flare. Woo! We ripped the whole landing gear out. Okay, so that may be because we ripped it out earlier, but it's all part of the show here on Brian Phillips RC. So guys, what I'm gonna tell you is that this plane has a lot of strengths and it has some weaknesses. The weaknesses for most people are gonna have to do with looks, okay? The truth is, I like the way that this plane flies, but I don't like it as much as I like the Futura. Yeah, this was glued here not too long ago. I just didn't let it set up long enough. That's why it came out. A little bit of loading laterally on there, and you'll be okay. It's not going to pop out. That popped out because we flipped it over in the grass earlier. So full disclosure, let's close these. See those flaps? We got them set up as barn doors. Now, truthfully, I could probably like fly it right now if I wanted to. And so I'm going to do it just because I trust that I can get it to the ground, but I want to go into flap system. And I'm sorry, I need a lot more down elevator. I'm going to go like 24. Okay, and I'm gonna go to like 10, okay? So 10 and 24. And hopefully we don't lose the gear on throttle up, but we're gonna find out if we do, because sometimes you gotta run it to the edge for YouTube. All right, throttle cuts off, take off flaps. Everything should be fine. Get her in the air, get off those gear, they're broken. Light duty gear, oh yeah. Okay, light on the throttle, take off flaps here. Landing flaps now. Good Lord, I need more. I need more. It's still better, but this is supposed to slow down like really good. And I'm just telling you right now, I'm not sure that it slows down as good as they want it to. Okay, full landing flaps, gear. Watch this, watch this. I need more down elevator, a lot more. Another 5-6%, okay. Being very gentle. I can push down on it, it'll be fine, okay. Throttle cuts on, I'm literally committed now to where it's taxiing, because I have my throttle cut off. And this thing, if you've got the weight on it, those gear won't pop out, okay? Yeah. It's just because my glue was soft. All right, so check this out. Okay, so I'm gonna go back into flap system and I'm just gonna change this. Again, this is a second thoughts. So what we do on second thoughts is sometimes we play with things. I'm gonna go 30. Yeah. No, it's too much. 28, sorry. Camera crew's probably right.
We're off by 2.
If we're off by 2, then we'll know that she was right after I agreed with her. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take off this way, okay? So throttle cuts off. And by the way, we do have telemetry on this, but we have limited telemetry compared to like an Avian ESC, so I'll show you what we got. So we're at 22.2. Oh yeah, we're golden. Okay, here we go. 20.4 is my warning point. Takeoff flaps are deployed. Being nice and gentle. Those gear are broken, remember, Brian? It's funny, I keep telling myself this. Okay, a little harder on the throttle at the top of the hill. Okay, take off flaps, landing flaps. Holy crap, it still needs more. You son of a biscuit lover. Oh, that's 20.3, so we are getting warned. So I'm gonna go efficiency mode now. So cue the traffic jam.
Yep.
Take off flaps.
Very good.
Shh, lady, quiet. Full landing flaps here. Okay, remember, I don't want to slam. Yeah, good job. Good job, me. Now look at that thing roll. That thing's gonna roll for 475 years.
Yeah.
Look at that, still rolling, still rolling. Now normally I would jank it, but that's how I popped out the gear that time, because I tried to jank it and do like a little slide here. Okay, so what were you saying about the 32?
Oh, I think I said you need like 2 more.
So you need 2 more? So like 32?
Maybe 4 more. Math on camera.
Okay, so guys, that was a lot better experience than our last flight. I'm telling you, sometimes we just push it on the real estate, and when we get wind, it gets complicated to land on that short landing strip, okay? So I'm out of the flaps. I'm gonna back taxi here just to prove that the landing gear are fine. I probably gotta get inside, pull that landing gear out, let the China glue set up a little bit, and then stick it back in once it's dry, and then it'll stay there forever. I really wanna take off again, but I think we're gonna have to bear with this for now, because I feel like we've shown that you can do it.
Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of, good Lord, now I need to slow it down again. I overshot my target. I'm just gonna drive it all the way up the runway.
There you go.
So guys, the Integral, it's just one of those planes that some people are gonna always think, hey, it's kind of ugly, I'm not into it, so it's not your thing. I get it. But at the same time, I gotta say, After having flown it a few times, I'm kind of like weirdly more into it than I was when I first got it. I wanted more because I wanted like this drop dead gorgeous body and then to also have it fly amazing. And I was just a little bit let down on how amazing it flew because like they were promising the sun, moon, and the stars, and I feel like the Futura did better, okay? Now, does that mean the Integral is bad? No. But does it mean that it's not as good as the Futura? In my opinion, it's not as good as the Futura. End of story. I mean, period. I love the Futura 80. It's awesome. I've had 2 different versions and I love both of them. They're amazing, very symmetrical flyer, up, down, flat wing, doesn't feel understable, doesn't feel overstable, doesn't want to wonk around on you. It's like hard to get it into bad positions, although you can get it in and slip out from under yourself, just like you can with the, oh shoot, I'm drawing a blank now. The Viper will do it to you as well. But then what's the other one? The Avanti.
Yes.
The Avanti gets really tipsy when you come in for final because it's got a real small wing, super high power. And by the way, for a 70 millimeter, the Avanti is amazing power. So if you're looking for something amazing that's gonna knock your socks off, this is probably not gonna be the first one. Okay, I'd start with the Futura, it's way better. And if you want something more scale, I would go to the Bay Hawk. Yes, that's right, the BAE Hawk. 80 millimeter, absolutely to die for. Amazing flying, flies amazing, looks amazing, does everything you want. Things that this does really well is, let's walk while we talk. Things this does well, LEDs. Flaps are huge. I wanna see if the flaps are better now. You know, with that percentage, but also now that it's calm, I could probably put it down on this runway. By the way, this is a cherry I always complain about not being able to see during the winter. We can see it, but soon those leaves are gonna leaf out and it's gonna be even easier to see. And this is the hole that we can hit, but remember, we're not quite at the right angle yet, okay? So that hole's gonna get squeezed out by those trees unless we move them. So that's why we got the guy hired to move them, probably around September. We missed our freeze that we expected to have to avoid driving a 70,000 pound truck or whatever through the front yard and making big ruts. So our agreement was that we were gonna wait until we could do it without damaging the property. So we got like 6 other trees we're moving and we're gonna put them over there on the other side of the pond, which by the way, the pond is being worked on right now. And so we said we would give sneak peeks. So what we're probably gonna do is we're just gonna go around the corner and show you one thing that you haven't seen yet. Well, technically you have seen it, but you haven't seen it there. So there's an excavator and there's a pile. And as you walk out a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further, there's a dam. And there's a cat on it.
The dam.
That's a cat, right? Oh, that's Colby. And then look what's popping out over the top. That would be a drain. Oh, and by the way, really, really, really quick, let's just run down here and show them this, okay? In case you were wondering, when you get a gigantic, expensive drain, you think it's gonna be like exactly what you expect because you haven't bought a giant, expensive drain like this before.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna tell you this. The engineer that designed this drain for us evidently thought our dam was gonna be a lot bigger than it was.
Yeah.
Or some such thing, because I can tell you this right now. First of all, our pond has water in it, which is kind of cool.
It does.
This shelf that's on the edge is not gonna stay there. That's just because they're stealing clay and working the dam. They have lifted this dam several times. And I know you guys didn't expect to see this on the Futura video, but if we're gonna see you at Null, we gotta tell you about the pond, right?
Right.
So this is the super cheap little drain.
Yeah,
that's an aluminized pipe, 96 feet long. Look at that, guys. Look how far down it goes. Oh, by the way, check this out. You think you'd be able to see light through this. This is an anti-siphon. I call it a hat bill, but I don't think it's actually called a hat bill.
It's a monstrosity.
It's a monstrosity. It's ugly as sin. Okay? Look through that. Dark. So now the crazy thing is, I can go down to the other side and talk and you will hear perfect. Well, I mean, it's not really that crazy. It's a tube of steel. But this is the main drain. 5 inches higher, we have 2 30-inch drains for an overflow. That's a 36-inch pipe. So that means that water will be going through this, draining, and then it's gonna hit the overflows like if a literal geyser pops out of that hill there and runs at 1,000,000 gallons a second, okay? Because we have a 36-inch pipe feeding from the other side of the road, which drains, like, admittedly, quite a few acres, like 48 or 50 acres or some such thing.
40, mid-40s.
And then I think we have 7 on this side that drains here.
Yep.
So we have 60 inches of drainage for 7 acres. Anybody who knows hydrology realizes that is an insane amount of drainage, especially since the overflow is only 5 inches higher than a 36-inch pipe. Makes you wonder why we had to buy, what is that, like $6,000, $7,000 worth of pipe for the overflow.
I don't know.
So the reason we had to do that was because we wanted a perfectly flat and level runway. By the way, this is the water level.
Yep.
Okay, as set by the main drain. Okay, you can see the little flag there, and you can't really see over there.
Little pink flag, I think.
Because
now.
Because the silt pond and everything is kind of obstructed here.
Yep.
And they've obviously got some more rock here. That rock, of course, is going on the discharge. Again, mandatory from engineering specs. They have to make a check dam down there that looks like that, except much smaller. That's 160 tons of rock, AKA 240,000 pounds of rock there. This one is probably 1 truckload, so
Yeah, it was
30,
one load.
30 tons. Or not 30 tons, 30,000 pounds, like 16 tons. And that's gonna go back here where the water flows out. And then the balance of it is gonna have to be, because the overflows are so close together, that means our water level will like basically never change by more than 5 inches plus storm, okay? Which is, to me, I don't really care, but the engineers seem to think we cared. Also, that's where the dam's gonna start at the top from the crest of that knoll, and it's gonna carry. So you guys see how high that is, and it's gonna go to where the other stake is.
Right.
Okay, so that means that when we're flying, this will be below us by a factor of 9, 10 feet. And then those are gonna be by a factor of like 8.5 or 9 feet. That's only like 3.5% grade on those drains. This is like 13 degrees or something.
I think it's 14.
14, then it goes to 33, then it goes out at like 3. So it's like the objective is to slow the water down before you discharge it. And I'm like, why didn't you just come in and go really steep and then go out, and then you could have had this like half as long. That is a humongous drain, guys. By the way, look at all this tar and stuff. Yes, they did have to assemble that on site. You can see the tar on the ground. Looks like a giant dinosaur crapped on the ground. These, by the way, are couplers. These coupler kits are like 250 bucks or some such thing.
Oh, good.
Yeah, exactly. Can you think of?
Bury them in the dirt.
Yeah. And then down there, that's some trees that came down. You can see that one I tried to catch on fire on accident.
Yeah.
That tree starts on the other side, grows up, and it is alive. You can see the growth on it. Yeah. So guys, we love this spot. It's going to be beautiful, but we feel like bummed because we're giving up so much of our little creeky area here that we didn't expect we were going to have to put a gigantic tube for no apparent reason, so that the water that was in the creek can go to the other end of the creek to be discharged.
Back to where it was.
This is what happens when you have engineers. And by the way, it's not the engineer's fault. It's the hydrology reports and what the county demands. So you guys came for an integral, which is kind of like on the fugly side. And you got to see what's going to be buried, which is hopefully not going to be quite as fugly, but it's going to be buried. And this is what happens when you have people that are in charge of your property that you own. But, you know, their letterhead is on the paperwork, you know. That's our county. Oh, and by the way, $15,000 worth of pipe. In case I hadn't mentioned that before, it's just a little bit under. It's a couple $100 under. We were supposed to be paying, what did we have in our bid? Like
$2,500.
$2,500 for pipe. I was saying $1,200 the other day, but that's because we were going to do a swale, a low point that was going to be for overflow. But then we would have had to do that rock all the way down and around.
Yeah.
And it's like, that stuff ain't free, guys. That would have been another $3,000, $4,000 worth of rock.
Yeah.
Easily. So that's what happens when you try to do big, obnoxious things in the real time and space, and you live in a county that thinks they own your land. But the truth is, when this is all said and done, It's going to be pain and suffering. It's going to be under the bridge, water under the bridge, guys.
Actually, it's going to be water in the pipe.
I knew you were going to say that, but it's okay. I was thinking
You
it
were
too.
going to say it too.
And we also found another giant rock.
Yes.
So guys, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this type of project, but it's really cool to watch it happen. It's just really scary to watch it happen, because here, this looks like pretty terrible right now. 3 days ago, before they started with this pipe, it looked pretty awesome. So as they continue to have to do more work, they're going to keep scraping that edge, and they're going to steal more and more clay until they're done. And by the way, that's a long freaking ways down there. It's probably 10 feet deeper than it was the last time you saw it. And it doesn't seem like it because the slopes are deceiving, but there is water there.
Yes.
And there is water running in from our ephemeral stream. It's ephemeral.
Seasonally, water.
It's not seasonal. Seasonal is different. Ephemeral is basically not seasonal. Seasonal is more than ephemeral. Ephemeral is like because of a storm or something, okay?
Yeah.
That one there that belongs to the neighbor, we join up with it. That is no longer ephemeral down there. That's a stream, USGS.
Yep.
Okay. Back there is a named creek. That one is flowing. It's 10 feet wide,
Way
a
back
couple
in the
feet deep.
trees.
It's still a small pond by comparison.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we want to fly more, and we're going to do it right now. So stay tuned. Brian Phillips RC is here for you to help you see amazing, stupid overkill projects that he can't get enough of, and then also cool RC planes once in a while when we're not doing things like this. So we hope we'll see you at Joe Nall. If you guys RC'd this video before, we'll be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We leave late in the day, so we should be there a good chunk of the day, depending on how the rental car agency is and what the check-in times and stuff like that are at the airport. But we'll be arriving Tuesday.
Late afternoon.
Late
early
afternoon.
evening.
We're not 100% sure if we'll actually be at the event on Tuesday night. But if you guys haven't already reached out to us, if you got a plane you want me to fly that belongs to you, we're flying in, so we can't really bring much. So if you've got something that I can fly to get my fix, oh, it'd be good. And I have a couple already lined up, and I'm super excited. And we will be working out with the Horizon guys, and we'll be Buddy RC for a little bit. So if you guys go to the Buddy RC tent or the Horizon E line, the electric line, they have a kind of like it's a Kwanzaa hut, I think. It's just a building that's open on both sides.
Two-sided building.
Yeah. No, it's all but two sides.
Yeah.
The ends are open.
The ends are open.
Maybe they put ends on this spring. But either way, we'll be down there a lot, and then we'll be at the 3D line and then on the main line doing filming and stuff like that. So if you see us, hit us up. We'd love to talk to you, get to meet you in person. And if you think I'm long-winded on video, you should see me in person. All right, that's all you get for tonight. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Smash the like button. Click the bell for notifications when subscribing. And don't forget, YouTube super thanks, YouTube members for monthly support, Patreon for monthly support, and PayPal if you want to do one-time donations. They all add up and they do help. That trip is kind of expensive for us. It's not as expensive as our pipe, but it's still pretty expensive. It's a few $1,000. So for us to fly down and back, hotels, and then we toyed with the idea of like renting a trailer or something like that. It just didn't work out for us. If we ever drive the family down, we'll maybe do that, because we did talk to some people that rent RVs and trailers. So hit us up if you guys have a fifth wheel or something like that, or an RV that you like to rent out and you figured out a good way to do that. Let us know. I know they had some rental agencies that were picking them up on Saturday last time when we were there in 2023, and they've got some pretty good deals. But again, it's still a little bit more than the hotels that we worked out. So stay tuned. There's so much more right around the corner. And if you guys want to get an Integral and you don't want the, Futura, you've already got the Futura, check it out. Links will be in the video description below. 4006S, 50C is what we're running on. Seems to do pretty good. Seems to just keep going. So that's good. And the Predator ESC did not cut us off this time, but we didn't have thrust reverse. Big disappointment in that regard. One of the biggest disappointments on this plane, because the gear are good, the lights are good, the body is actually in pretty good shape. I feel like it's a pretty well designed plane. It's just not maybe my taste. So, and it's okay. Just because I don't like the looks doesn't mean it's not a good plane. And that doesn't mean you should think that it's a bad plane just because I'm not crazy about the looks either. Some of my favorite planes are planes I thought were butt ugly when I first got into the hobby, and now I love them. Pitts was not like butt ugly. I just wasn't a big fan. Now I've got them. I love them. Mini Moa, another good example. And there's been a few, I just can't think of them off the top of my head, but I've just grown to really have an appreciation for different aircraft. And this one is kind of grown on me. So stay tuned, so much more right around the corner. Thanks for watching.